Yari Gary's here too. I hope you're doing well. I have a very exciting art video series coming your way that we'll be looking at 3 different types of art focused on one key theme. The main thing that we'll be exploring is green, in particular, trees, leaves, and gardens. However, before I go any further, I'm going to do an acknowledgement of country that we always do at the start. Unfortunately, we're not together, so we can't do the one we created, but I'm going to do my own. So I say to you, Yari Gary's, na couple warren, na bugagin yamin, na guju, na couple, na waka waka, Rueben Davis Nien, Gugaja Nien. What I just said is hello, my name's Rueben Davis and I'm from the couple people from Warrell. I would like to acknowledge traditional custodians, the Gugajan people, and pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. This first video that we will be doing, we're going to be looking at the visual arts. And we're going to be looking at different techniques and conventions, which means the ways that we draw and the different stuff that we use to draw. And we're going to be focusing and doing it on leaves. So year 2, to start this video, we're going to go and grab some leaves from the backyard to be our inspiration for this video. Cool. All right, year 2, I've just done some exploring in my awesome backyard where I have grabbed 3 leaves that I'm going to use as inspiration for my visual arts upstairs. The first one I grabbed is this one that has really cool jagged edges on it. And the reason why I chose it is because I can explore some different jagged lined conventions on the outside to really show the sharp texture on the outside. The next one is this really funky looking one here. I liked this one because I thought I could use some really cool round outsides with some squiggles on the inside to show its funkiness of the leaf. The final one I chose is a pretty classic one. I feel like most people have a leaf like this in their backyard. It has nice sharp edges on the outside, but it has quite a smooth and soft inside, which I can do some really awesome contrasting with. I can do nice dark sharp outsides, but a nice smooth texture and color and lighter color on the inside. Let's go back upstairs so we can start exploring some of the conventions. Okay, year 2, now that we've got our inspiration, let's start getting into it. But before we begin, I'll show you the different tools I'll be using. So I've got some crayons here that I'll be using. I've got some oil pastels and I've got some watercolors here. Now year 2, I don't want you to necessarily focus step by step my drawing and the tools that I'm using, because we'll be using many different tools, many different styles. What I want you to focus on is the conventions that I use. And some visual art conventions I'm going to use are like some sharp, jagged lines, some round lines, some squiggly patterns, some soft and hard textures, and the contrast. That is what I want you to focus on. Do you think you can do that for me? Perfect. Now let's get on to the video. Alrighty, year 2, let's get into our first inspiration for this activity. The first one is this leaf, as I said down there. I liked it because it has these jagged lines, but I've also noticed that it also has a nice round line to start it off, then going into the jagged lines. So they're the type of lines that we're going to explore here. So, as I said, it's got some nice round lines, but it's also got some nice, sharp, jagged lines. So let's draw our leaf here. First we begin with the round line, and then we go into our jagged line, our sharp, jagged line around, and then ends off with a round line. Now, to finish it off, I feel like it's missing a little bit of green. To keep with our theme of being green, I'm just going to go over with the green oil pastel to finish it off by smudging to add that nice green color to it. Now, when we're doing this activity in class, we won't necessarily just be using a type of color. Again, we'll be using many different tools. We'll get to that when we're in class. Let's move on to the next inspiration. Okay, now we're going to move on to inspiration 2, which is this leaf here. I said this one was pretty funky because I liked the shape of it, the outline of the round, bouncy, squiggly lines. So what we're going to do, if you want to come and have a look here, we're going to use some round lines again, but we're also going to use some swirly, squiggly patterns on the inside to show its funky look. So let's go with the design on the outside. We're going to go with some nice, bouncy, round lines on the outside to show how it looks. And then with our crayons, of course, we're going to be using green. We're going to do some squiggly lines around the top. And then we're going to do some with a different color green, a darker one. We're going to do some swirls in the middle. And now we're even creating like a little pattern. There we go. That's our second inspiration. So now we're going to be looking at our third and final inspiration, which was this leaf that I really liked because of the contrast it had. The sharp lines on the outside, but the nice, smooth, and soft texture on the inside. So to replicate that, we're going to use a black crayon to draw the sharp outline, but then we're also going to use a light green watercolor to show its soft and smooth inside. So we're going to draw our leaf here. The sharp and dark outside with the line down the middle, and then we're going to we're going to contrast it with this light green watercolor. Year 2s, do you see the conventions that I'm using here? I'm using a soft color and soft strokes on the inside to replicate that smooth and soft texture, but I have dark and rough lines on the outside to show the contrast between the two. And that there is our third and final one that we'll be doing today. Alrighty, YouTube, we're just about to finish this video, but before we finish up, I just wanted to go over the conventions again so you can remember them. So the first one, for the first leaf, we had round lines as well as sharp, jagged lines in it. For the second one, we had round bouncy lines on the outside, along with squiggles and a spiral pattern on the inside. And for the third one, I used a rough, sharp outside contrasted with a soft and smooth watercolor inside. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. As always, take care, stay safe, and Yanunde, I will see you very soon.